Thank you all for coming out this evening. He is the best, the best. He's as nice a person as he is talented. That's great. So you'll learn more about him tonight. Would you please welcome Romero Britto? How are you?
Hello? That's good. Well, I didn't know there were so many people in the room.
They came to see you.
Oh, no, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys all here. It's good.
Okay, let's go in the Wayback Machine and ask you, you were born in Brazil.
Yeah.
What do you remember about those early days?
There was a lot of commotion. My mother had like 9 kids.
Nine kids?
There was a lot, yeah. And there was my sister and I, we were like the smallest one in the family. So it's kind of really complicated.
When did you first discover art?
I remember like doing drawings in my mother's walls in the house, like when I was 8, and then when I was a long time ago.
Okay, let me ask you this. What did you like about it? What drew
I mean,
you
when
in?
you're a kid, you don't know. You just cannot explain. You just like doing certain things, and as you grow older, you're like, well, maybe I like this because of that, But I just, if you're gonna ask any child, why you like that, it's pretty, difficult to explain. But when I was a kid, I just liked it. I didn't know. And so there was a point in my life that I thought about getting a job like anybody else. And I thought, oh, maybe I should be a diplomat. I wanted to be what my friend's father was, like he was a diplomat. And I was like, maybe I should be a diplomat. I want to be an ambassador of Brazil, travel the world. And but when I was in law school, I was so miserable. And I was so miserable that I decided about no longer pursue the career of a diplomat. And that was the day that I quit law school. And I'm so happy I did that. Yeah.
Do you still have pieces you made when you were a kid?
I have maybe 2 pieces.
When you look at
Because
them,
all my siblings sold everything and was in my mother's house. Yeah. Yes.
when
I
you,
want to buy them, but it's just too complicated.
when you look at them now, what do you see?
Well, I mean, it's a long journey back. I think, and we need to talk more about that. So, I think I need to go actually to therapy to go over that. But I mean, it's always very nice to go back and see those pieces. Actually, I have one in my house that is really nice, but I don't spend so much time in my house. So I spend most of the time in my studio. So they are there. I know it's there, but I just don't make this deep reflections. Sometimes really I try not to be going so deep in so many moments of my life, and I just keep it going. I think it's much easier for me.
Okay, you
I
want
put the music going in my studio, and then I keep thinking about something new, and then life keep going.
He played Maroon 5 for us today.
Yeah, I love it. So
He
nice.
loves it.
Yes, very nice.
When you create, do you have headphones on, or is it pumping?
No. I have music that everybody. My entire studio, I have music so everybody can listen to it. So it's really good. Sometimes some areas they don't put the music on, and I was like, why you don't have the music? But
So, you went to Paris. How old were you?
That was a long time ago. No, a lot of people think I look very young, but I'm really old. I'm almost 70. No, I swear to you, in 15 years I'll be 70.
I told you he was funny.
No, right? I mean, I'm almost 70.
So you went to Paris. Can you tell us how old you might have been?
I was in my 20s. It was my first trip to Europe, and I love it. It was an entire year. It was, for me, it was a discovery every day. And, whatever it was, I actually stayed an entire year in friends' home. And it was amazing. It was the best time of my life. And I didn't have to worry about anything, and I have to worry about everything. So, do you know one of those situations? You don't have to worry about everything, but at the same time, you worry about everything. So there was, the days. And, it was great. I mean, it is different. Like when I go back to Europe now, where everything is so much more, and it's different. I go to places. Catherine and I, we were in March in London, and we had this incredible party in Buckingham Palace. It was different. The days I was in London working in a restaurant, in a Greek restaurant, washing dishes. So
Nice. So, who was behind you going to Paris? Why Paris?
I went to Paris because I just wanted to visit Paris.
Okay.
It was amazing. I wanted to visit Paris, and I wanted to go to school. I always wanted to go to school in Europe, but it was just very complicated. Everything. I mean, it's just But every time I go to Europe, it's always nice. But I love living in the U.S. I was thinking about in the past, many years ago, to live in Europe, and then when I visited first Miami, I felt so excited about the city, and the city was it is very dynamic, and the people, and I made friendship, and I feel like every time when I travel the world, I go back to Miami, I feel at home. So
You answered my question. I was going to ask you about Miami. You said it's real pretty. It's home.
yeah.
You mentioned what you like about it. Mention it more, if you could.
What I like more about Miami, I mean the people, the mix of kind of people from all over, and then there's the water, there's the sun, the mix of culture and the food. It's very hard to explain in a few words, but it's like this huge melting pot in Miami, and then there's the energy, the vibe is really positive. You travel cities that people work and they're very stressed out. Not saying that in Miami there's no stress, but you don't feel like, I think there's more people in Miami celebrating life than people like freaking out about life, basically. Because, the world come over there to go to see the beaches, Florida in general. And it's I feel this. I don't know if everybody feels this way, but I do.
Didn't you tell me when you first got to Miami, you were painting in the streets?
Yes, I did paint in the streets, yes. I'm coming to America when I did realize and I decided about living here was almost being born again. And all my dreams, all these ideas that I had was all washed away on the beach. Like I left behind. I was like start all over again. I went to college and I came to here. I was in college in Brazil and I came here, not that it was demeaning or anything like that, but then I was like starting like cutting grass, washing cars of people and everything. If I tell the story, it's just amazing. So you need really to forget about everything. And so it was just an entire like rebirth basically. So, and I'm really happy to be here today because, when people come and tell me stories, I was like, I understand totally, I get it. But you have to make sure you're ready to go in and keep dreaming, keep doing your work, keep doing the right thing, and then everything's gonna happen.
Where did that come from? That feeling, that thinking.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know because nobody told me. I don't know. I don't know. I tell my son, but I mean, I tell him, listen, you have me here because the only thing I want for you is for your happiness. I'm not selling nothing to my son, but I tell him, it's so important for you to hear from people that loves you, and I tell him this all the time, and not all the time, but as opportunities come to say, but it's just I don't know. That's one thing I've been very blessed to somehow that in moments that growing up, moments that I was reflecting about my, as a kid, and I was just thinking and dreaming about things, and just this thing hit my head, and just here I am.
Did art grab him?
The what?
Did art grab your son?
No, well, listen, he's very creative, but I never push my son to do something like I do. I always tell him, listen, do whatever you want as long as you're happy. I'm never say, oh, do art, do this, and like he loves doing. He does painting, sculptures, but he really loves like music.
Okay.
So I was like, I just do what you feel like. Be happy. That's the most important thing. Whatever, I'm here for you. But I'm not pushing him because it must be very hard to be like, I know a lot of people, so I see families that they have business and the children feel the responsibility to carry on the business, the father, the mother. It's really hard because, everybody has their own, dreams, aspiration, and it's hard for you to carry on somebody else's dream and aspiration. It's very hard also for the parents or the grandparents that they build something so spectacular and see in the hands of somebody else, and they wish it would be in the hands of their children, the heirs or whatever, but still it's like very hard. So, and that's one thing I really admire about the Buffetts. I'm very lucky to know the Buffetts, and and I can see that the grandfather doesn't want to leave all this responsibility for the kids with all whatever he did, Warren Buffett did. So
I asked him earlier, how old was his son? He said, older than me.
no, he's older than me. Yeah, so he is. No, he's very smart, and he got all the brilliancy from his mother. So yeah.
Okay, tell them about your first studio.
Oh, my first studio was a hair salon. Yeah. No, because I was, somebody was like actually, I tried many times, to reach out this family that owned a store in Miami that sold furniture, art, object of art, and all kind of stuff. And I could never meet, and finally I met Mr. Mato, and he was super nice to me, and he'd start selling my work, and because of my art, he had this idea about opening a gallery, but when I went to see the gallery, it was not really an art gallery, it was a hair salon. And there was still hair in the whatever, people wash their hair. And one of the time I went to pick up my check with Mr. Mato, and he said, oh, no, I'm gonna close the gallery. If you want, you can stay there. And I was like, I have nothing to lose. I was like, I'll go. And when I went there, I was like, oh my God, he called this a gallery. It was a hair salon with painting, hanger. Imagine if you go to a kitchen and you say, this is a gallery. And then you hang, no. And you hang art all over the kitchen. And then you say, and you don't remove the sink, there's nothing. And then people come and whatever, I actually could be interesting, like a gallery in the kitchen, but basically and then I went there, and he said to me, it's gonna close if you want to stay there. I was like, yeah. So I stayed there 5 years, and I realized that Mr. Mato didn't have the vision, these ideas, what was in my head, and I just figured out a way just to, disconnect in a nice way from, his business and his family business, and I just did my own thing, and I stayed there for 5 years, and then I moved to Miami Beach, which was amazing, because Miami Beach was going through the Renaissance, and then it was really good. When I went to Lincoln Road was totally dead, and there was nobody there, and people thought I was crazy. And when I came to Lincoln Road, the gallery, the rent of this space this family had bought for $300,000. And then, I became friends with the family. I include them to everything, and I tried many times to buy the building from the family. I could have bought the building when I moved to there, and I could have bought actually in cash, not cash, like from money from the bank. And basically, they never sold the building to me. And so I stayed there for 25 years. And then the family wanted to sell the building, and they asked like $30 million, and then I end up deciding about not buying the building because they didn't make sense, but because it was more than the building worth about 20 million, something like that. I was in Lincoln Road like when it was totally dead. I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but but I've seen a lot of stuff on Lincoln Road. Yeah, and there's so many things happening, like amazing. Just like seeing the growth of the street, when it was totally dead, and now we have the neighbors like Apple Computer, Oh, I know. Yes. When I moved to there, the rent of the gallery is 5,000. Now is $100,000 a month. Yes, $100,000 a month. Yes. Yeah, yeah, it's really amazing. Rent control, yes. Should be. Yeah. But it just it's amazing, and but all the opportunity that came, being in Miami Beach, and I'm very thankful. And so here we go. And then I've got my studio. There was a point that I needed to have my studio somewhere else because I did go once to a lunch that I say I would never want to have a lunch like this again. It was super nice, my friends, but it was 4 hours. I was like, if I have lunch for 4 hours every day, I will never paint. So I decided about getting out of that place, and I went to Wynwood, and Wynwood is totally dead. And then my studio is there now currently, yes.
Romero, 2 words: absolute vodka. Tell them that story.
Oh yeah, now because I'd say yes going to that studio which was a hair salon. I have an opportunity to meet Kurt Nikander and his beautiful wife Britto, and showing my work, telling the story about my art, and then somehow I have a connection with Sweden that I didn't even know that one day would be helpful to me. And then when I was showing around, what I paint, I have the picture in the wall. I always like photograph. And there was a picture of me and Princess Christina. And then it was like, oh, you were in Sweden? Yeah, I was in Sweden. And then, it was a moment for me to talk a little bit more. And then, Mr. Nakander said, oh, yeah, our company started an ad campaign with an artist by the name of Andy Warhol. And I'm going to talk about your work. So I was praying every day that he would call me back or somebody would call me back. And finally, Michel Roux, which unfortunately, he passed away like about 2 weeks ago. And Michel went on the trip to Miami, and he came to visit my studio, and he commissioned me 3 paintings, and he did the ad campaign for Absolut Vodka, which was the most incredible thing for me because of Absolut Vodka, I was able to do so many other projects with so many corporations like Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola. I designed watches for Hublot, Technomarine, and so many others. I did a Barbie for Mattel. So many things I've done. It's really amazing. And recently, the chairman of Coca-Cola, he came to paint with me in the studio, Mutakent. And so it's just it's a dream come true. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I find it unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's unbelievable. Sometimes I want to pinch myself. And then instead, I'll drink a glass of champagne.
What's it like seeing yourself in Vanity Fair, The New Yorker, and more? When you see that and it's you, what do you think?
What happened is that I'm like so busy with my work that I think what does happen is like more people, it's more in the heads of the people than mine because I'm like so concerned about, like the everyday thing, like my studio, my travels, the politics inside the studio because there is politics inside the studio. When you have a lot of people in a room, believe me, there's a lot of politics. And I'm trying to make sure everybody's happy. And, I'm just like, it's the everyday thing. And sometimes you have really to step out and just say, wow, and just like with everything, I'm been so blessed and so grateful, because there is a lot of politics. Whatever there is a lot of stuff going on, there's a lot of people want to be part of it. And then, you attract all kind of people. It's just crazy. Right, Catherine? She can write a book. I write my book, she write her book. Yeah.
You talked about your first studio at that hairstyling salon. Yeah. Your current studio is 50,000 square feet. Think about that.
I know, it's so big. I'm scary. Sometimes it like overwhelm me. I don't want to think about so much, but there's a lot of people, a lot going on. It's just, I'm always worried about security of my art because, it's just like very worried about security of my work because where you have a lot of people, so it's just like, it's like exciting and scary sometimes.
I think the word is multi-dimensional. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Tell us what that word means, how that describes what you do.
Well, you know what? Listen, I'm sorry, but I don't think that way. The only thing I would do is I wake up in the morning, I go do my job. But I think other people like yourself, you can observe from the outside and say, oh, wow, he has the emotional and the, what's the other word, Catherine? No, the emotional. Yeah, the emotional and the now it's like now yeah. Anyways, the emotional and the very the logical, you know, like yeah. So because you know, one side I'm an artist and the rational and the emotional. I'm sorry. After one glass of champagne, I'm totally gone. I swear to you, I only drink one glass. Yes. So the emotional, the irrational. So for me, you know, I'm all about emotional with my work, but there's so many moments of the day they need to be so rational that it's really exhausting.
When you work, you don't work one, then two, then three. Do you have a bunch of them that
What happens is that there's moments of my work. So when I do sketches, I do many sketches of work. And then when I start doing the color selection, I do the color selection, many of those. It doesn't happen all the time, the same sequence, but I try my best to do it in a way that is very, I use the best of my time. I make the best use of my time. So, and that's one thing that I try to do.
you you were talking about being on the board or having dinner at Buckingham Palace?
No, no, yeah. No, actually, the Prince Charles invited me to be on the board of his foundation, the Princess
on.
Trust International.
Prince
So,
Charles
yes,
invited
yeah.
him to be on the
Yes,
board.
yeah, he invited me. Yes,
How'd that happen?
it's been amazing. I mean, it just happened. I mean, it happened basically because they appreciate my work and appreciate what I've done. Because before I was invited, I had bring so many incredible people to be somehow interested in his foundation. Yeah.
How did it all begin to snowball from being in a small studio in Miami to being on Prince Charles' board? How'd that happen?
Yeah, no, I can't believe, right? So true. Me too, I cannot believe, yeah. I know. But, it's just, the thing is, it's a lot of work, a lot of dedication, people there has been collecting my work. I have an incredible amount of friends, I have incredible friends that, people that I call friends and very inspiring to me, and the story, like, Miami, I have this family that they call me family. They say that my name is Romero, Britto, Harrison, Green Harrison.
Nice.
So and my friend's father started the incredible company, and they employ hundreds of thousands of people. So this is like I love the idea to hang out with friends that inspire me somehow, and they have a nice story, and it's just like very special.
Talk about painters that inspire you. Old, current, new.
Well, I can go back to the Renaissance from Michelangelo and Da Vinci. I love what he did, and was Botticelli and there's so many others. To modern masters like Picasso, Braque, and Romero, and so many others, and pop artists like Andy Warhol, Jasper Johns, Keith Haring, and now Jeff Koons. I love their work, and for me, it's very inspiring.
Nice, very nice. How do you put all that into what you do?
I just do my thing. So, there's so many artists that's very inspiring, but you have to do your thing. You have to. I think it's important to find inspiration out there. You can find inspiration, just walking the street, meeting people, and seeing how people live, and put yourself in perspective. Like the other day, I was in New York, and I got out of the Mandarin Oriental. I had this beautiful breakfast, and when I go down there, I see a guy in a wheelchair, the other guy begging the street. It's just like, and you feel like, wow, and here I am. You find like, it's just like you feel like grateful, you feel like inspired, you feel like, doing something because you have an opportunity to do something.
You talk a bit about China. What happened there?
Well, I have a lot of collectors in China, and a very major collector commissioned me this massive sculpture, and I have so many, a lot of collectors. Actually, the president of China collects my work.
The president of China.
Yeah.
That's very, very
Yeah,
nice.
he collects my work, yes. So.
When I interviewed Anthony Quinn, the actor,
Yeah,
he
I know.
sculpts. And I would say, how do you do that? And he'd say, I see a piece of granite or marble, and I say, something's in there. I gotta find what's in there. Do you do that?
Well, I haven't done like granite, but no, I haven't done granite, but definitely, I mean, I usually see like I see a wall, and I was like, I see a door there too. Do you know what I mean? There's a wall, there's a door, and there's always possibility. Things about the time to do it because there's so much going on. You know, I want to go out there, talk about my art, promote my work, and then I also want to do my art, and then I had to some time to. Say, okay, I cannot do this because of that, because I need to go and just do my art too. So, but yeah, I see possibilities in so many places. Just the only challenge is time.
Do you dream about possibilities? Do you look off into the distance about what can be, what you want to do?
Oh yeah, no, I dream. I dream awake and I dream sleeping. Yeah. Yeah, no, when I'm painting, I'm thinking about all kind of stuff, you know, so many things come to my head and I wanted to do. I drive my staff crazy because I want to do so much, so yeah.
Earlier today, a person told me you are quite good at merchandising. Tell me about that.
No. I mean, people misunderstand. What happens is that people like what I do, and because they like it work, it's not like I'm good and like, oh, you're a great marketing guy or whatever. No, I'm just like, you cannot convince nobody to like something unless you love it. So, I mean, I love what I do and I want to share with people. And basically people react to it and they want to have with them. But I cannot convince no like brilliant guy like who started the biggest video game in China, and he met my art before met with me. So he started collecting my work for years, and one day I go to China and I meet this man that started the biggest video game in the world, which happened to be in China, and he has so much of my work. So I think I've been very blessed. I mean, I don't stay in my studio thinking about, oh my God, like companies, they do have like a huge department to marketing and everything. I just do things I put out there. Some people say, oh, I want, like this company from Canada came, they're huge in the gift area, you know. And they say, Romero, I would love to do this with you. I say, yeah, let's do it. They ask me. It was not like I came to them and say, hey, let's do this. You know, they just, I mean, what happens is I want to share my work with people. I mean, a lot of artists, they want just to share with the elite of the world. I want, you know, like today there was a lady that came with a dog this small that I did a Dalmatian. No, it's a little sculpture, you know. I wanted to eat that dog. Actually, it was so delicious. Is she here? No. No, she's not. She left. But she had a little dog because I worked with Disney for the past 20 years. In the park, they sell my work. You know, I did thousands of pieces. You know, I put my work on the Disney characters, but I just want to share my work with people. It just in whatever form, what it is, because at the end of the day, you know, it's a great feeling, and it works. So, but it's not like I'm a marketing guy. You know, I'm an artist, and I just love what I do.
You showed us a picture of a pyramid in London that was there for a while.
Yes.
It's gone now.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell them
So yeah,
about that.
the London Park, this pyramid I did in
There
Hyde
it
Park
is.
was a temporary installation, and I was very blessed that I was in a lunch and I was next to this man that was the Minister of Culture at that time when Mubarak was the president of Egypt, and they were planning this exhibition in U.S. and then the final show was going to be in London. And they asked me to be part of the celebration. So there was a lot of events, and one of them was a paint party with 2,000 children that came from all over UK to paint with me. More than 10,000 signed up, and then I came out. They asked me to come out with ideas how to celebrate. So basically, the idea was to do a massive pyramid, and I thought they were gonna go crazy, but they love it. And then the pyramid went up, and it was amazing. You know, so many people saw it, and it was very special, very special. Until today, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share my work in such a grand way. Was the largest art installation that I ever did, and in the park as well. Yeah.
Summer today talked about her son up in Jacksonville, was it? Being there with you, and he has never forgotten that. Why is it important for you to do things like that?
You know, I mean, listen, I mean, like, for me, I remember the first time I met this artist here in US. I was not the age of your child, but your son, but was so important to me meeting, you know, Agam. I don't know if you guys know Agam. Yaakov Agam, he's a very famous artist from Israel. And it was very special to me because I always wanted to meet other artists, and you know, I wanted to meet Andy Warhol or Keith Haring, those guys that are for me like incredible. But I met them through people that I met, you know, like today I met him again through this lady here that's across from us. And but no, it's great. I mean, I'm honored to know that children, you know, from around the world, that when they meet with me, they have this like great, you know, feeling about it, my art and everything. The funny thing, speaking about kids, like once I walk in the gallery on Lincoln Road, and then this kid screamed to the mom, Mom, this is the artist that created Mickey Mouse. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna be so disappointed when he find out it was Walt Disney. It was not me. I just put my art on Mickey, so that was it. But no, it's really great, and I think it's amazing, you know, for parents bring their children to see museums, art galleries, because, you know, without telling the kids, it's like giving the idea of anything is possible. Because when you think about a piece of art, the first time when you get a piece of art, like whatever art you have, like it's just any art out there, is the first time somebody think about something different. And it's like anything in life, like a business or anything, like you think about that first time is unique, and then from there you can explore or expand one or the other, and give like this thing in the head of someone, especially when you're very young, for you to think different and think out of the box. And that's why today we're here. We can fly the world, we can send messages, pictures, because of people think different out of the box. They don't think over and over the same thing. They keep changing, switching, and evolving, dreaming. So basically, I think it's great to bring your children to see, you know, art.
You travel a lot. Where'd you travel last year? How often?
Oh God, I mean, so many places. A lot of places, yeah, and yeah, everywhere, like from, you know, everywhere you can imagine, all the continents you can imagine, yeah, everywhere. Right, Catherine? Everywhere. I mean, last year, just with Catherine, I did 45 trips last year, but many more. I mean, with other part of my team. So, but I do trips like for one night. Go to Italy for one night. Go to whatever for one night. You know, go to place in and back and forth. Very quick, going back quickly to the studio. Yeah.
What do you do for fun?
What I do for fun, I love being in the studio. Of course, it's my job, it's my hobby, it's my everything. And then I also like to be with family, friends. I like going out for dinner and shopping. I love shopping. So yeah, I'm a shopaholic. I love shopping.
When you shop, what do
I
you
went
shop
actually the
for?
other day to shop midnight in Walmart. It was fun. So
That
if
was
you go
you?
to Walmart, you may find me there at midnight.
Other than Walmart, what do you shop for?
Oh no, all kind of stuff. I had to be very careful because I tend to collect almost everything. So, but no, I love like buying, like I love clothes, and so I love fashion. It's very nice.
They call that a pack rat.
Yeah, I know.
You were talking about, God, I can't remember his name, but he had a bed in his house. It's now a hotel. Versace. Talk about that.
He has a what?
A bed.
Versace's bed, the big bed.
The,
Giant bed.
the bear?
Bed.
Oh, the bed. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I'm not getting too old in here. No, the bed. Oh yeah, the bed. Yes, a very big bed. The entire family can be there. My mother could be with all of us there in the bed. It's very big. Yeah, the Versace bed. Yeah, if anybody go and stay in Versace, I don't have no interest in the hotel there, but yes, there's a Versace mansion. You can stay there. It's a big bed. I stay there for Valentine's Day.
Do you get nervous or anxious when you meet these big people?
The one of the thing growing up, like being, in life, is that you realize we all kind of, we are humans, At the end of the day, we wake up in the morning, we have our needs, and then you just, not that I don't appreciate, I don't regard, I don't have reverence to, meeting the Pope and, what he went through to get there, because, the journey is not that short. So, but I respect and admire, but I don't. I think the first time I was really nervous was many years ago when I did a huge mural for St. Jude Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, and Mrs. Clinton was at that time she was the first lady, and then she flew over there. There was all this everything, and people told me, oh yeah, Hillary gave you a kiss. I didn't even remember until I saw the video. So, but it was a long time ago. I was like a kid, and it's just like, there's so many things happened, so many bridges and so many waters went through. So,
You talked about Hillary. Tell them about Barbara Bush, your relationship with her.
she was amazing. I have a very funny moment. There was one day that we were having dinner, and she was like, "But Romero, like, how your English is so great, how." And then my wife at that time, she told her, "Isn't it amazing that he doesn't have no accent?" And she looked at her and say, "If Romero doesn't have no accent, it's like telling that all my children are the best kids in the world." and then we still laughing. And then she said, "Romero, how come you came to America?" I say, "I came in a plane." And she just, "I know that." She gave me the arm. She was very nice. And she always treated me really well, and my son, and she's a very beautiful human being. So,
Rio, we all have seen the pictures. It looks like a party that I want to go to. You were there,
yeah,
and they celebrated you.
Yeah, it was Carnival. It was amazing. I don't know if you guys know about Carnival, but Carnival is a party in Brazil that the whole country celebrate. And they decided about honor my work, and I couldn't believe. And I went there to visit. It's a school of samba, so the entire country they celebrate this carnival. But Rio de Janeiro is the main city that they have the biggest carnival, basically. So they did a school of samba with 5,000 people, and they also created samba, inspired on my art.
Nice.
Yeah, Catherine was there, so it was really nice, and. My son was there with me, and it was beautiful. Usually they give this honor to people when you die, and they gave it to me. I was like, I couldn't believe it. So thank God they did give it to me before I die. Yeah, it wouldn't be fun.
What are you working on now?
Wow, so many things. The list is very big, and actually I have commissions. All my works are commissions, and I also, at the same time, I like the idea to work with many galleries, because I do have one gallery that's called Park West Gallery that they buy most of my work, and they sell on all the cruise ships. Like last year, they sold more than 15,000 limited edition, and they buy a lot of my work. But the thing is, I like the idea of working with many people, because there's nobody, like with the monopoly of Romero, Britto, so it's good. So that's good. So yeah, and I'm doing also a cartoon for television. I have so many things happening. Yeah.
You talked about collectors, people who collect your work. Who are they?
Who are they? All kind of people. From somebody that never bought a piece of art to someone like Carlos Slim that has 69,000 pieces of art.
Nice.
Everywhere. It's not like, you see many artists out there that they focus just like, I just want to sell to people who understand art. My art goes to everybody that want to live with the image of hope and happiness in their home. And that's the idea. So.
Why is that? There are plenty of people who don't think about hope and inspiration and all that. Why do you think about that?
Because I mean, I live all the time hoping that tomorrow's gonna be even better. So why not share that? I mean, I think, listen, if for me as a creative person, it's very challenging to be all the time motivated because I have my days. Also, my art bring me up all the time, and music, and thinking about what's happening out there. I can imagine somebody that work in the morning, or somebody that work in a hotel, or like somebody that driving, or somebody security, someone that see people having a great time, and they're like, in the airports, seeing people come and going, and they feel like there's millions of people waking up in the morning doing something they really don't like. Do you know what I mean? So in time, when I speak with some of the people on my team, I say, look, we're very lucky because there's two reasons people wake up in the morning to do something out of their lives: for passion, for fear. So we live all the time with this feeling, passion, fear. The passion for what we love and the fear to lose what we love. So, and I think, it's much better to just wake up in the morning with the passion and we feel excited doing something. And I'm very lucky to wake up in the morning and do what I love, so, and why not? So I'm here, and why not I do it, and I can't wait to do even more.
Let's talk about the future. In 10 years, where do you see yourself?
I want to be very, not traveling as much, and painting part of the year in summertime, spend the whole 3 months in Europe.
Nice.
Without traveling that much, right, Catherine? Yes, Catherine, need to work on that. And but I just see myself painting peace and be happy. That's it. That's
good.
a good
Okay,
plan.
do you guys have questions?
I have a microphone.
Hello, I can hear you.
Hi, Romero. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I think that the whole audience is delightful having you here in Orlando.
Thank you.
My very first question is, after seeing all your art, where is your happiest city in the world?
Miami. I love living in Miami. Yes, love living there.
You have to come more often to Orlando.
Yes, I will. Yes.
We have
No.
to take you to the parks.
No, I have to tell you, you remind me a story. Many years ago, I have a friend of mine from Australia. I was like, we're going to have an incredible night tonight. We're going to be going to Orlando. I flew to here. We had dinner, and we flew right back. And I had a bunch of friends of mine waiting in the studio, and we stayed the whole night partying. The whole night. It was unbelievable. We came for dinner. We came to a roller coaster here in Universal, and we have each one of us drink champagne flying here, and then by the time we went to the roller coaster, and then we went for dinner. At that time, Emerald Lagasse was there, the restaurant, and then we had dinner, and then we flew right back to Miami, and then we went out the whole night with a bunch of other friends. It was great. But we came here for dinner. No, I come here quite a lot.
Hi, Romero. I agree
Hello.
with you about Miami. Miami's caliente. So I have a question for you. Tell us a little bit about the newspaper painting series, because you have 2 pieces here tonight about painting on newspaper. Can you just tell the audience a little bit about that and what was the tipping point for getting out of Brazil and going big?
Well, I used to read a lot newspaper. I don't read as much, but so because I read so much paper, and then one day I had this idea. I was like, I read a lot of paper. It was super inexpensive, and art supplies was very expensive. So I was like, I had this idea of painting newspaper. So I started like, oh, what a great idea! I can read and I can just use it. So it was a recycle, unbelievable. So I started doing drawings on newspaper, and then I used to show them in the sidewalks of Miami. And as I was able to evolve more with my work, and then I was putting the new canvas was coming, the colors of the bright and everything. And then for years, about 20-something years, those pieces were in a storage in my studio. And one of my staff told me, Romero, we should do a show of this work, those vintage pieces. And then we did a show, and a lot of collectors started buying them. Pieces that I was selling, like they were sold like $50 in the street or $100 on the sidewalk on Coconut Grove. We sold like $400,000, the most expensive. Yeah, really amazing. So, it was just unbelievable. So I wish I had painted more. So I mean, and because of that, I did also brought up some pieces and like inspired on that. I did prints and I did like works on the prints and things like that. But it was a very special time working on newspaper. I have a very funny story that I don't know if some of you know, but David Lawrence, he was the publisher of the Miami Herald with, the editor and the chief editor, David Lawrence, many years ago. And he came to visit the studio, and I was telling him this story, and he told me, "Oh, Romero, if I knew you, I would send you a truck full of newspaper for you." I was like, "But you wouldn't get my call, David." I was like, at that time. And then he told me the other thing is like, "Oh, Romero, you create the monster. Now you have to feed the monster," which is my studio. He told him my semester is like a monster, like lots of people working there and everything.
So Romero, I've been to your studio, your gallery on Lincoln Road several times, and I've enjoyed every experience. So my question is, your signature portions of it, broken up, is embodied in many of your works. Why is that? What do you do? What's the point?
Well, it happened because this friend of mine that gave me this huge break from Absol Vodka was coming to visit, and then I had bottles empty. And then I thought, what am I gonna do? Maybe I'll do something funny to Michelle. And then I get one of the bottles, I kind of shake the paint inside of the bottle, and I put to Michelle, Romero, Britto. And then when I did the Britto, and then the Britto was kind of so bad, I was like, I started doing more and more and more. And I was like, wow, it looks interesting. Like I should do the whole bottle. So I covered the whole bottle. And then friends of mine that came to visit me was like, wow, Romero looks great. And then I had a show in Paris in the gallery say, why don't you do an entire wall with your name all over? And everybody thought, wow, it looks so interesting. So I started putting my name everywhere. That's what happened. It was very simple. But it's very good today for copyright of my work because, when I put my name all over, the Britto everywhere. So it's really nice. Actually, I did a watch for Movado and Mr. Greenberg. He thought that my TTO looks like high, the letter of life in Hebrew. And then I did a sculpture, with my watch inside, with a like Movado watch, with the high, with TTO that looks like high. In Hebrew, it says life. So I was like, I'm honored. And then some people think it looks pie too.
Hi, Romero. My
Hey.
name is Jamil. I'm here with my brothers, Sandro and Anthony. And what I want to know is, when it's all said and done, what is the legacy you want to leave through your art in the world?
Well, I hope that every time somebody think about my art, they have a smile on their face and they have a good feeling and of having a piece of art that represent love, peace, and happiness. That's what I hope. No, thank you.
Last question.
Good question.
With everything that you've accomplished in your career, what's the next dream for you? What's the next dream project for you to do?
Well, I definitely have this big dream to create a place where people can come and understand more of my work, because a lot of time people see a little bit, but they don't know the whole story, and that's will be a place in Miami. And I was working with the city of Miami to get this like 14 acres, and I was working with the city for about 2 years to build a place with a sculpture garden and a place that I could have an exhibition space for artists, young artists, and everything. But then I had to decide about not to do because it became very complicated. But I'm not gonna do it with the city, but I'm gonna be doing privately because it will be less complicated. And I also don't. Yeah, it was still has so much work. Even though the city, the people are very special to me, but it was just came to a point that I have to. Basically. But I want to build a place that people can come and learn more about my art. Yes. Yeah.
I got the mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I know it's the last question, but I have one more. So we have some artists here. What advice would you give to the artists in growing their careers?
Well, I think the number one is to share your work with people, because a lot of time there's two moments that is very hard. One is when you value yourself too much, or once you don't want to share. You value too much or you protect too much, And I think you just have to understand that when you do a piece of art, it's like when you have a kid. Of course, it's hard to tell people when you have a kid because it's a different feeling, but it's like you gotta let it go, and you're gonna have to share with people. And a lot of time, people think, oh well, if you paint less is more. But basically, we are in the world that's so fast. There's so many images, and artists is not saying that I'm competing or the images on the phone is competing with my image, but think about how many millions of images is hitting people's head every day. Images, sounds, and signs, and everything. Now for you to have an image that's gonna stick to your head, you're gonna think about, and 100 years from now, you're gonna think about. Because 100 years from now, we're all gonna be gone. So the only thing that's gonna tell a story is a piece of art. A sculpture, a painting, and that's it. Because unless you're gonna open the computer, you're gonna look for. But think about, do we go back to the Renaissance? It's all there in the computer. Nobody here in this room can tell the whole story about the Renaissance. But it's all there, only if you want. But it's better to be in front of you. It's like, go to your closet, clothes you see you use, clothes you don't see you don't use it. It's as simple as that. You gotta create an image, something physical. And if you don't create, it's really difficult. And the more you create, the better it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Romero Britto.
Oh, thank you. No, that's so nice. I'm about to cry. I'm gonna cry in private.